Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of AKP Sports Talk. As always, I'm Ari here with Korea, continuing on conference tournament championship week. Getting closer again, one day closer to Selection Sunday on Sunday. Korea, tough 0-2 day for you. I believe it was lost by the hook, the Oakland under, if I'm not mistaken. What did you see from your two plays the other day?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stay away. I'm stay away from that neutral court system. Or am I? I mean, look, it. I don't know how I'm just getting beat by these lines every day, but that was such a good look. And then just a couple three throws, and we're gonna hit one of these. I swear. We're just getting the right reads, maybe just the wrong games. And especially with now with all of these conference tournaments. Especially in the bigger Power Five for college basketball. All of them are at neutral, so there's gonna be a lot more games where there's a neutral court under. So I feel like now that we have a lot more neutral court games happening now instead of all these campus site games that we've been for all the mid-major games. A great shot for this under system to finally hit this week. So I'm not giving up, but man, that was a tough beat yesterday. And then St. Thomas, look, I didn't expect St. Thomas to shoot that bad. They lost by 10. I think they went like 20% from three. If they made three of those, and obviously things can go their way, but it was a 59-49 ball game. Like I said, their defense, but their offense just could not do anything. It was just a tough beat. I knew I barely put any, but I just thought, maybe, with all these trends of the number one seeds going down, I thought they were next. And, it was pretty close. So I'm not beating myself too much. It wasn't like a 20-25 point blowout. It was a close game toward the end. And then, South Dakota State kind of ran away with it, at the end, kind of giving St. Thomas the L. And, I'm not beating myself too much over it. It was a pretty close game. It was at least a 5-6 point game pretty much throughout the entire game. So it was a tough, but man, this neutral court under system is just kicking my ass because I don't know how I'm just getting beat by these cooks every time. We're going to get it soon. I promise we're going to get it soon. But, that's a tough 0-2 day. But, it's not one of those days where, I'm too upset at myself. It was just, one by the hook and then one, I legitimately thought, they had a great chance. Then, I saw that line grow. So, I did see, reason as to why people could back the South Dakota State team. But, I just took the better defense. They showed up, but the defense showed up, but the offense didn't. So, not beating myself up too much for it. But 0-2 day. All right. Ari, how'd you do yesterday?
Yeah, not good on my end either. Tough loss for the Norse. The one concern I had that I forgot to mention when I was going over the play was the difference in rebounding, and that turned out to be basically the difference in the game. And they got a rebound. I think it was 50-28 in the game rebounding wise. So they lost by 7. They were up by 7.5 and got scored by 14 in the second half. And you figure if you get out rebounded by 22, if you can even cut that down to like 10 or 15 or something like that, that could be the difference in 7 points going or 8 points going back your way. So yeah, that was my one concern that I've just blanked on mentioning when I went over the play. Otherwise, I like the Norse. Other than that, but obviously rebounding it's obviously a huge part of a game, especially offensive rebounding and holding the glass. So yeah, tough day for both of us, but we'll look to bounce back today.
Yeah, like you said, when you look at teams, in the kind of these close, it's hard, to really evaluate. But if there's one kind of lingering factor, you mentioned, of rebounding. Rebounding is kind of a big factor in terms of win the biggest factor, of course, in terms of a team winning or losing, in terms of who you should pick or whatnot. But it is big because obviously rebounding can lead to many first and second, obviously second and third opportunities in terms of offensive rebounding, and then in terms of rebounding, obviously leading the fast break and your offense going. So that was a tough break for you. And you mentioned Milwaukee out rebounded the Norse 50-28. That screams Milwaukee wins that game by at least 5 to 10, just because of the rebounding, differential, the rebounding difference. But as you said, a tough Monday, maybe just a Monday blues. But we're gonna bounce back throughout this week. Obviously, starting today, Tuesday, March 12th. And ironically, Ari, 4 years today, we all know what happened 4 years today. The infamous Rudy Gobert, oh, I'm not touching the mics, and then Hoiberg on the sideline, and it's crazy to see how we are 4 years later, the infamous 2020 March Madness that never was. But here we are now, 4 years later, March 12th, 2 picks today. I know there are a lot of conference tournament finals, especially especially with St. Mary's Gonzaga, but I don't really like how that line is looking right now, especially with Gonzaga being a huge favorite. I think this was a great bounce back spot for St. Mary's, especially for a revenge spot, and especially because last time these two teams played, St. Mary's did get the loss. That was a home for senior day, but I'm avoiding that game. I'm just going here with these two kind of day-ish games. Obviously, now that we have some 6 conferences going, I'm first going in the Big 12, and I'm taking Cincinnati. I'm taking them -9. I'm just fading West Virginia. We talk about fading West Virginia away from home, and here we are fading away from home, and I believe will be their final game of the season. West Virginia is really, really bad this season. It's just been, nothing has gone right for them. And obviously, it kind of started with Bob Huggins, with the radio show incident. And then, there's all the talent that they got in the portal, didn't really develop into anything more. We talked, Kirk Kriisa, he didn't really, develop into that 3-point, guy that West Virginia was hoping to be. And, they, even though they have, some key guys, it's very, very limited from how this team is looking right now. And, it's sexy, such a highly, touted team. And, they even got Raekwon Battle in the portal, but Cincinnati just take defense here. We talk about how Cincinnati always had the better defense all season. And, even though kind of on the bubble-ish, it is an important game for Cincinnati. They have maybe a 0.001% chance right now at large bid, but there's a chance. So, and they got to take it with the biggest chance that they can. So I am just going to take Cincinnati -9 here. I think that's a great line. I think Cincinnati wins this by double digits, but I like it the -9 right now for that push potential, just to make sure if it doesn't, I just do think that Cincinnati just wins by double digits, taking the better team in this first round for the Big 12 tournament. And then going CC tournament, I'm just taking this under here. We are going back to the system, people. I know. I know the definition of insanity. It's repeating the same thing, expecting different results. Here we are expecting different results. Louisville is, my God, the worst team in the Power 6 by far. Louisville is god awful. And I know West Virginia's had their struggles. West Virginia's record is a lot worse than it shows. I will say that. Their record is worse than it shows because they're a good team. Louisville's team is honestly a lot better. Their record is a lot better because I have no idea how this team won 8 games. This team is horrible. This team is bad. In terms of how they play, they're one of the worst offensive teams, right? And then we talk about neutral court, system falling in the play, obviously conference game, totals over 140. I like this total going down. I think it's just going to be a very, very slow game. Obviously, these two teams, it's their first game of the tournament. So but one of the first games. So it's going to be a little slow for both teams. But I'm just backing the better team here in NC. Obviously, the better offensive team and the better team. I expect them to kind of control this game on both sides, kind of slow it down, go their pace. They don't really average that many points per game, but, I feel like that's kind of what I'm mostly backing, the fact that, I'm not really backing NC State. I'm just more fading Louisville in terms of, how they are, on the road, technically on the road in this spot or whatever. But I just don't think Louisville makes us even competitive. So that's why I'm more, hoping that, NC State kind of gets that big lead, or Louisville doesn't have to play a catch game, anything like that. Just kind of establishing the tone early, so you don't have to worry about anything. So that's why I'm taking this under 149.5. I think it's going to be a low scoring game, but I think NCAA is going to rout them. That's kind of I'm backing here, just kind of fading on all in all facets here. Those are my today. Taking Cincinnati. It's kind of sad, but we're West Virginia and we're fading Louisville. Those are two great programs, but we just got to fade them in this spot. So Cincinnati -9. Like I said, West Virginia on the road. Anemic. Cincinnati's defense has kind of been their anchor all season. Louisville, NC State under, just fading Louisville offense, defense entirely. I know NC State's going to win, but I don't like the spread, and I just don't really like that total being really high. I like this game to go under. So those are my 2 plays today. Simple Tuesday, even though there are plenty of games going on today. We obviously will have some more coming later this week. But those are my 2 plays this week. Ari, what have you cooked up for this Tuesday?
Yeah, I'm on 2 plays as well. I'm going first with the under in that West Virginia-Cincinnati game. These 2 teams met in the last game of the regular season, and it went over at, I think, 148, I believe. But that was because Cincinnati scored 92 points at home. Obviously, I don't see them repeating that. And I think, as you said, their defense will still stay strong. I think they think that they can cover the -9, but in a bit of a lower scoring game for them, at least, not scoring 90 points again. On a neutral court, not at home, obviously, which that game was at Cincinnati. So I'm just going with the under, kind of fading West Virginia as well, just kind of in a slightly different way, and backing the Cincinnati defense. And then I'm taking Boston College over Miami just straight up. They're +2.5. This is a Miami team that was, fun last year, one of the best backcourts in the country. Now they've come into this game having lost 9 straight games. In that span, they lost both games to Boston College. Obviously, we always say it's tough to beat a team 3 times, and obviously it is. But this Miami team is just not good. Not to say Boston College is great, in their own right, obviously, but I just like how they kind of match up with Miami, and just Miami just coming in with the worst momentum you could have possibly, obviously heading into this conference tournament. So I'm just taking the value that I see. Obviously, you could say that Miami is like a sharp line where, why are they favored? They're going to, why is Vegas favoring them and whatnot? But, it's gone both ways. Last year, Miami was the other way where they were sharp, where they were like a small underdog and you bet against them, they would keep winning, for a lot of last season. And now they're just bad. So I'm just taking the value I see. Obviously, you can go safer with +2.5, but I think that Boston College can win this game. So I'm just taking them to win.
Yeah, you mentioned that West Virginia, Cincinnati. I was looking at that one as well. But you mentioned last game. That game went way over, but that was obviously a senior day, Cincinnati at home, and there's a lot of extraneous factors that play into that, and route as well. And then the other game that was in West Virginia did get the win, but it was only a 4-point win. And we always talked about how West Virginia's defense and is always better at home, and obviously that was in Morgantown for a reason. And I do like that under. We're kind of same page about fading. Where obviously you just more focus on the points. Me, I'm just on the whole team itself. Cincinnati kind of just getting on to we can both win there with Cincinnati hopefully covering the 9-point spread, and then obviously going under that 144 total for you. And then I was also looking at Boston College as well. I like that play for you. You talk about how this Miami team, they're going in the wrong direction right now. You can blame the injuries, you can blame all the other actuating factors, but this Miami team is not the same Miami team as we saw last year. And I do like BC in the spot. You mentioned BC got the season sweep, and even though it is hard to beat a team 3 times, Miami has not won, in so long. They're just trending in the wrong direction. I don't really see myself backing this Miami team, even if they are a small favorite, in this spot against Boston College. I just Miami really having any success. I think this is their last. I think they just want to focus on, getting healthy and getting ready for next year. And I also agree with you taking College just on the money line. Just taking the better team right now, and you're getting less money. I like that play for you. And then you're taking West Virginia, Cincinnati under 144, as we talked about, kind of co-aligning with my play. Hopefully the Cincinnati West Virginia play both hits for us. But just a reminder, if you need all of these plays, you can find them on our Twitter, AKP Sports Talk down below. You can find all of these picks along with the video posted momentarily on our Twitter down below. But that's going to do it for this episode of AKP Sports Talk. Just a reminder, tomorrow will be our baseball only video pretty much for the most part. We're going to be delving into pretty much our favorite MLB season in terms of win totals, talking about player season props, maybe divisions, potentially the pennant winners, getting into World Series maybe, award winners, all that fun stuff. We're going to be talking our favorites tomorrow as we get closer and closer to the beginning of the MLB season. Obviously, a week away from the infamous game in South Korea between the Dodgers and the Padres. We're about a week away from that. But obviously, we're going to be having our college basketball content. Of course, come on now. We're days from March Madness. We know what's, but we're gonna put. Obviously, you can tune into that as well as we get closer and closer. But that's gonna do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. That's Ari. I'm Kareem. We will see you guys tomorrow.